Assalamu alaikum to all the wonderful listeners. Guys, Assalamu alaikum to all the wonderful listeners. Um, your guy is still a novice in I'm still a novice when it comes to Facebook lives, but I'll be learning along the line, you know. Uh Malmo is the best person to be teaching me some of these things, but he's a very bad teacher, so you guys have to bear with me. Can I just know in the comments if you're hearing me? Let me just know. Let me try to check from my phone if I'm audible. Yeah, okay, good. I can hear myself. Kasa, share the life, share the lives, share the life. Um, guys, share the life. And then more Kananang, let me play this beautiful music for you guys. I think you guys will like it. Yeah. So, Paul Bolingama. Okay, guys, sign time waste Jamawati, yeah? Uh, this is going to be a quick one. I don't have any intention to keep you guys. Have a couple of topics to discuss. Of course, we cannot discuss anything right now in Gambian politics or in Gambian society without talking of the Unite Movement for Change. So, Momo Miyalogo, you are willing and then you're interested to change the dynamics in which our country is run. You have a big, big, big opportunity to vote for Mayor Bensouda or align yourself with Mayor Bensouda. So let me just see in the comments if I'm audible, please. I just want to know if I'm audible. Let me just know if I'm audible. Guys, just let me know if I'm audible. Um, Let me know if you can hear me. Hey, yeah. Yes. I'm audible. So yung program over kala program kuma rimbaldi because and then it's going to be unfiltered. I know kon kan ke kubaka ni media mola and then because if people listen to you, you owe it to them to be respectful, you owe it to them, to be measured. And that's what we're gonna continue. This one will be very straightforward. To nyabo folale, amal abo folale rasta kamoy wa amal lafi kamoy abo folale because that's important in our public discourse. I know naming understand saying Gambia no lafta tonyal Gambia no lafta fiong la mi alon ko wolbe bata bondila. Man fa ya famle. And then the center of the discussion today will be about the Parliamentary Commission of Enquiry that was set up to investigate the sale of Jammeh's assets, and issues around that. And those who follow the commission today, obviously, everything I would say here, apart from the analysis bit, will not be news to you because you followed it, and then you know exactly what happened, what transpired there. So this will not be news to you unless until except the analysis bit of it. So uh, me topic from world. Then later we will dive into other things me and is happening in our political discourse. So follow. We have to say the truth, Gambians. We all know exactly why this commission of inquiry was established. That is this parliamentary commission of inquiry. The reason, the events leading to its establishment, are things that every Gambian should be proud of. Because ni Gambian only I ko banko la nafulo mi yalon ko former president yo le sunya yo banko nafulo dole falanta yo banko nafulo ni piset pasar, you know the people have the responsibility to hold, to hold the government accountable and to hold the people that are involved in that process accountable. And that is why the gala process was staged. All of us supported that. Everybody supported the gala protest because we know it is a meaningful protest. We know it is a purposeful protest. We know that most of the people in that protest, they have a genuine intention. Even though we know there are certain people who have an agenda, people like uh, Kurang, some politicians, apart from Kemo Vadi, respect to him, that brother, I respect him, you know, you know. But apart from those guys, there are some people we know very well that they are just going there to propel an agenda. We also know certain individuals, Nyanko, they belong to other political parties. They just want to be seen as freedom fighters. They just want to be seen as, to be everywhere, so they will have to be there. But there are people in that protest, Nyanko, they are very genuine. And I have huge respect for those individuals. I have to say that I have huge respect for those individuals. So, sorry, someone is calling me. Yeah, start local language, obviously, yeah. So, maniga kauni angale kama bele jahas bahas la jambi, man ko man malmodi because yala teka manja accounting, jula accounting, cool bele fengije, but so mbabe jahas bahas la pekela no yang, yeah. But it's still about the Commission of Inquiry. Well, not the Commission of Inquiry, but the Parliamentary Commission of Inquiry. Me alanko ibe fenko minjia. So we're talking about the events leading to it. We have genuine people in that gala protest. We all know it is the gala protest that give birth to this inquiry. The government were never going to set up a committee or any form of body to investigate the manner in which Jammeh's properties were sold. They were never going to do it. The only reason we all know they did it was simply because there was a gala protest and there was demands from Gambians from all walks of life calling for transparency, calling for accountability, right? So, the government, they had no option. They only have the option of making sure that they unveil to Gambians what um I just need to do something. Okay. I'm not gonna ban anybody. I want to ban people, some people here, but I will allow them to comment for now. But if they want to be toxic, I'm gonna ban them. So let me just proceed. I want to be very democratic. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. We all know that was a very genuine phone call. But and then we all know the call of Gala people. The reason why Gala went out there calling was very simple. They are calling for the government to make clarification as to how Jammeh's assets were sold. That's what they are interested in. They want to know how Jammeh's assets were sold. That was very clear. That's why the government came out. That's why the people came out and protest. Yeah, understand? So if you set up an inquiry in that process and you want to backdate as to how people are appointed, fine, that's process. I mean, you want to establish a foundation, you want to establish a basis to 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 your inquiry, that is really really understandable. But we all know Gala's protest was definitely 100%. It was not successfully hijacked, but people like Kurang, their intention was to hijack simply because those people they never had a platform. Kurang is one of the politicians in Gambia who had never had a platform in his life. He only, in fact, a platform establishment and the Cabral and PDIS. And we all know what he did there. Either you went to PDIS, it's clear to everybody. But that guy do not have a platform. You only know that he used Gallus protest as a platform to reach people. If you go to his Facebook wall, the first thing he pinned, if you go to his first Facebook wall, the thing he pinned on top, if you click on his Facebook, first thing you see is him standing and saying, we need our money, we need our money. Which money are you talking about? The money in which you play a huge part in squandering. Yeah, I understand. Because he needs a platform. He wants to be seen doing something, and where the crowd will cheer him. So he used the opportunity to be there, to shout, take a video of it, post on his Facebook, pin it up. So it's a platform for him. Even though he ended up failing, because what happened, he ended up recruiting people within Gala. We all know their names now. Many along, but they were even going against the members of the platform or the members of this very, very futuristic and important, corrupt fighting institution, which is Gala. So going forward, we all know what happened today. I mean, Ntolbel Al-Amin keta today, except for Niman Fenko Njibe, but it's very clear, except for Niman Commissioner Njibe. But one thing that stand out for me yesterday, even today, is I have never seen an inquiry in which, commissioners or counsel force a witness, to accept a summary of his transcript, his evidence. That has never happened. If you call somebody in a commission of inquiry and interview the person will give you general answers, right? If you want to make best use of his interview, fine. If you want to ask for evidences, the best thing you could do is to tell the person to provide evidences or to provide his evidence or to provide his submission. But you did not do that. You went and took his transcript in verbatim. You took your own summary from his transcript, and now you are putting that summary to him and asking her to accept that summary as her evidence. Oh, this is just common sense. That has never happened till anymore. You walk man na mi alango, Amie Bensouda ka ko nana, ngen about, commissioner la ko ala jamel ko ala investigation ko nyadil. Another nang is speak generally. Allow speak generally the transcript of that script. You water, it from see that at your own corner, you extract a summary from that transcript in your own way, in your own tone. If you are giving him giving her that summary and forcing her to accept that summary as her evidence. Is that okay? No one ever does that. Even police, ni moye mo samba police, ika kuja okay, police only anyi nka statement no. And police only tole for statement no safi ay. Ika fa ko statement no njibe, for son dal for ma son ka safi. For accept. And in fact, at some point, it's a statement no safi no. You come back and retract your statement and rewrite it. You understand? Because no statement is complete. For neither myself, I'm married for agree with you. Statement. I'm happy for this to be used as my evidence. But you invited Amie Bensouda to come and give her, in fact, that was not the testimony. You invited her just like an interview. The interview, all the things that she said was a transcript. You took that transcript, excuse me, Suleiman, I don't want to ban you from. I'm trying to stop you from commenting because you know why. This is a very, very important discussion. I know you have a personal problem, you have a personal issue with the Bensouda family. And honestly, it's going to be very unfair that it is a personal issue with Talib to use that against their family anytime Molbe Kronfo they put in the Bensouda family as like this, as like that. No. I will leave you here if you want to be constructive in the things that you say. But to say they are criminals, they deserve to be in jail without giving any evidence, I'm not going to allow that. Right? So I want to be very democratic with you and everybody else. But the fact of the matter is, if you have a personal problem with somebody, you don't have to bring that in a professional, discussion. And I expected you to understand that. Yeah, I understand. Everybody on Facebook, everyone in Gambia now knows Sleman Marena has a personal problem with Mayor Bensouda and his family. I don't know what the problem is, what the family, what the issue is. I have no business with it. I understand that they said you were working there as intern and later moved to somewhere else. I'm not interested to know. What they did to you there, whether it's right or wrong, I'm not interested to know that. That's left to you. But one thing is, personal problem with Talib. I'm not going to allow you to bring that here. So please, for the sake of sanity, I want you to be here. Yes, I want you to be here and listen. And if you want to comment, comment. But if you want to bring personal issue, I will have to buy you. I'm not going to block you because you know very well how I like to interact with you. But for this life, I'm going to stop you from commenting. And I know you don't want that. So comment, if you want to say they are criminals, you have to give me a reason. You cannot say somebody is a criminal, they have to go to jail, please. Okay? So let's go ahead. So that has never happened. If you invite somebody, right, to come to come to a commission of inquiry whatsoever, and the person is interviewed, the least you do is to even allow the person to write her own statement. But the person, Amie Bensouda, did not write any statement. They called Amie Bensouda to the interview. She came, she did an interview, she went, and the interview, the transcript of the interview in verbatim, that's what they took, and they went and wrote a summary from that interview. And now, when she was giving her testimony, in the beginning of the testimony, they want to force that summary on her to accept that summary as her evidence. Everybody know that some people cannot even summarize. Some of these people in this National Assembly, it's just sad to say, but they cannot even write their names properly. You cannot even express yourself properly. How do you expect anybody to agree that a transcript is what you summarize as a summary and they should accept that as a summary? Even at police level, hand police on. Ni mo kumandi na ya interview ya nyininga fon. They allow the person to say what they want to say. At the end of the day, they ask the person, "Is this your statement or not?" Maria sign or I can sign. Sometimes they can statement from sign in police. When you go to court, you argue for that what statement was given in juris. You understand? And sometimes the court might find that valid. You understand? So I've never seen that. That is where they have shown to everybody for it all. They have no interest. They have no interest whatsoever in anything that Gala and other people fought for. The only thing they have an interest in is to go and fight against anything that has to do with Talib Bensouda. This is not even about Amie Bensouda. Amie Bensouda is just a victim of Talib Bensouda's political entity or Talib Bensouda's political life. The new woman is an exceptional professional who did an amazing job at the commission. The only reason why they try to, flip all the coin and make it about her is because they know getting to Talib is going to be going through her. That is so unfair. We need to be fair to ourselves. You understand? We need to be fair to ourselves. Nyanda ka trial nga killing. Because you never know who is going to be, who is going to be the next victim. Ita mo kilo mo tara no iko keleka fight. You don't only stop there, you go against their own family members just because you don't agree with them, just because you don't like them. Gambia, that's unfair. Manya no okela. You understand? And the mean for indi from jahala bela. Those who even work in a professional life. If I'm calling no Keba Lanka mean for I don't know one Keba that nominated National Assembly member. Me Alonko, if there was no power given to the president to nominate somebody in the National Assembly, you will never even dream to be a National Assembly member because nobody will ever cast their vote for you. You were there as by the virtue of the constitution of our own constitutional flaw. Yeah, I understand. How can you question somebody? Me Alonko have been they give her a letter. They issued her a letter, right? A letter to start a particular responsibility. Before the letter was issued, she already started the role, or she started working on the responsibility. It is only fair that she is paid of the responsibility of the service that she delivered. So for her to be paid for the service that she delivered, the debt needs to be reflected on the day she started working. You understand? The date need to be reflected on the day she started working. And if you are saying that I have appointed Ibrahim, for example, as whatsoever, I have appointed Ibrahim as finance director or finance manager, and Ibrahim started work in the 1st of October, right? Or 1st of November, for example. If I am writing the letter today, the date of the letter today will have to be on the 5th or 6th, because that's the date today. But the effective date of the service will be the date she started her job. The date on top of the letter is not very significant. What is important is the content. The date on top of the letter, or a date anywhere on a letter, is just showing when this letter was written. That's the only purpose of a date on a letter. A date on a letter is simply saying that this was the day the letter was written. But what is more important is the content of that letter. Right? You can write a letter today about an event that happened 10 years ago. But you cannot say, you cannot put 10 years date there. You have to put today's date there as the day the letter was written. Yeah, fam. So how can you call that backdate? That's not backdate. You understand? What is been done is simple and straightforward. If you want to pay Amie Bensouda, you need to pay her not after she start work or not before she start work, but exactly the day she start work. This is a very simple human resource practice. Very, very simple. Those who work in public service, I'll tell you, more do go start, more kick manager. Ibuka jo manager do jola. Ekata jo kame officer jola. Fight for 1 month, 2 months. Nibe appointment letter digala la manager jo. Appointment letter min diala. Eka letter diala lungo min is always the day that always the day that they wrote that the letter will be the day on the salutation on top of the letter. But in the context of the letter, you have to clearly indicate it started in this particular day and end in this particular day, so that will be reflective of the payment of the person. And that is very, very, very mediocre. That is that is so irrelevant at this point. What we want to know as the people that went out to protest is Jumale Jambela Asesol Wafi. Ikabiya Wafi, Koloni ya Dundi Mintole. If you want me Wafi, Jumani ya Wafi Wale. This is what people are interested in. People are interested in knowing what really transpired. People are also interested in knowing the people that did wrong are accountable, and also people are interested in recovering the money. That's what every Gambian is interested in. Nobody is interested in you going to ridicule Amie Bensouda just because you want to get to Talib Bensouda. And this is the problem of parliamentary of inquiry. I will tell you this. And that is why, since in the onset, I've never written anything about this parliamentary of inquiry. Because everywhere in the world, parliamentary of inquiry, they always end up being political. Because members of the committee are politicians that belong to various political organizations. And a politician is a politician. Their interests will come into play by all means necessary. And what can keba lam for fanalabi, keba la nyadi, keba lam for fanalabi? Simply because he belongs to the NPP. He will not like anything that has to do with Talib Bensouda. Talib Bensouda is his boss's greatest threat. So in order to dissect through Talib Bensouda, he has to attack Talib Bensouda's mother. But that is unfair because the woman is not Talib Bensouda. She cannot be victimized because of her son's political entity or some political ambitions or political career. She has never been involved politically in her son's political career. Monene ma yada political platform or ako gal karte fa indi mo. Monene ma yada political platform or ko Taliban suda ba mal nada ako a lot of political platform or ako kana karte fa Adam Barrow, kana karte fa Ndole, karte fa indi mo. Ani mo ke. So why will you go? Why will you go after her just because of her son's political career? Just because her son is a political is a threat to your boss? That's very, very unfair. Because not anymore, I have worked in HR. Everyone who have worked in HR, if none, go hana manga HR. Gambia Jumal ba folako. Ite do ko institution. Ite maje. Ye leta safe ya di mola. Ye demin ke ka. Everyone who worked, if you deliver a service, you expect to be paid immediately, effectively the day you start working on the service. Why are you looking at the date on the letter? Why? You just want to create a mixture in the minds of people to indicate that there are separation in the dates, so there is some foul play. What is that? Every day, every normal human being, if you are writing a letter, you have to write the date you write the letter. That has nothing to do with the content. That's very simple. You understand? That's very simple. So we need to be fair to ourselves. We need to be very, very, very fair to ourselves. You know? And there's no backdating. There's no backdating. That is just a letter expressing that she needs to be paid specifically for that. You understand? And what What even baffled me, for Jahal Nyinko Bacon, as a National Assembly, as a commission, you are given the power to write to every government institution, request for any evidence that you want. The woman came to you, you asked her, "Ya jonya I go monthly, inka do tene, inka invoice or whatsoever key Ministry of Justice yanjo." You understand? Man, I think what is happening here, people are insulting each other's mother. Suleiman Marina, go and drag your mother to. Look, guys, Suleiman, you see, this is what I've been told you, I've been telling you, bro. Don't bring negative energy here. You see, you are making because the thing is, Talib is a loved individual. If you are writing things that are unfounded about him, people will come after you. It's not my intention to see you, having more than Kanjang. You understand? So please, what's Ifabula? Yeah, man, innit? You know, I have to find a way to block you from here. It's banned. Guys, I gotta worry. Forget about Suleiman. Let's go ahead. The only thing problem, what can I do to ban Suleiman from what? The disadvantage one I have is we are among cool understand. Baffling. How can I ban somebody? Please, guys, how can I ban from somebody from watching or commenting? Definitely, Facebook Live guy, among who water. I can only see the Slewan. Thank you, boy. Please, this is not a joke. If you have personal issues with talent, go and solve it your own way, please. Okay? Let me find a way. I'll find a way. Don't worry. Guys, don't worry. I know what to do. I know what to do. Just give me 1 second. Because we cannot be distracted. We cannot be distracted. Guys, so I'm sorry, man. Now we're gonna continue. Leman, not a block. At a block because if somebody, everybody knows I'm very democratic. If anyone comes to this life, you want to say anything against anyone, if it is genuine, I'll agree. But you cannot come to this life, you know, you cannot come to this life and started insulting people. I'm not going to allow that. Yeah? And Talib Bensouda is a national asset. He's loved by Gambians. So if you cannot come to this Facebook live and start insulting him and allow people, and you think you're going to go scot free, if you insult him or you document false allegation against him and his family or his person, definitely people will come after you. So with all due respect, and take time off, definitely the only thing is to remove you from here because I warned you several times. So let's go straight forward. So maybe focus. What on call? The National Assembly, this parliamentary inquiry or whatsoever, they are mandated. But they're mandated to write to any government institution. If they want anything, they have the power to write to the government institution, make a request of it, the government will provide it. Now you invited this innocent lady. You asked the lady to provide an evidence as to how she is paid. She was very clear. This is how I am paid by the government. I will write to the Ministry of Justice, request for payment, and they will pay me. You want her to provide evidences of that. You want her to provide evidences of the letters or requests she made to the Ministry of Justice. And this woman has no power over the Ministry of Justice. She's a private lawyer. We need to understand. Amie Bensouda has no authority in the Gambia. He's a private individual who just has a private farm, represent private individuals or government institutions in her private capacity or in the capacity of her business. She's not a minister. She's not a National Assembly member. She's not a councillor. She is nothing, absolutely. But you want her to write to the Ministry of Justice, request them to provide those payments for you when you have the power to get that directly from Ministry of Justice. And the woman did not say no. She agreed, in fact. The woman accepted and said, well, look, these requests, I made them or made these requests from the Ministry of Justice. I will ask my finance department. If they have it, right? If they have it, I'll provide it for you. But the best thing will be you write to the Ministry of Justice and request it. Okay, ba lang for na tole keso kasi ka po Dinta jana la finta jana by force nyanda ka bondile. Well, you're trying to bully the lady. You're trying to ridicule the lady. You know very well that you're never going to be in the National Assembly if it is left to people voting for people. This is so unfair. I have never seen in my entire life that a family in the Gambia is targeted in this way just because they are fortunate. Mbakuma kilim folale, momo mi alon ko ebe Gambia, katalala muiti. You need to be very careful of this trajectory. Because it is a bono for a family. It is a keno for roti. You understand? But I say, dear man, it is a kebaya, you do cost the hardy, you do what take a for roti. So, Momo, they are financially fortunate, and we should allow people to go after them just because they are financially fortunate. That is absolutely wrong. I did not know Amie Bensouda when she was young, but I want to believe very well that she rose from a very, very humble family. Okay, it's they are financially fortunate. But do you want to blame my children, or do you want to blame the children of Amie Bensouda to have Amie Bensouda as their parent? No. If they are financially fortunate, them forward, that's not you, Amie Bensouda's fault. You need to try and work for yourself. Make your own money. You might be poor, but you didn't want to say, well, I don't know. But some people, they'll just come after this lady, oh, these people are they are fortunate. Who told you to be unfortunate? It's whose fault for you to be unfortunate? It's not anybody's fault. You need to stop hating people. They haven't more city. Itala dunia bolo ko ne ma be ka fendi ka mo tele ka mo jawya. Mari man kugela. You move even come move from without no reason. I can't from city. I don't know whether you know it or not. Hate is vengeance is not good. Because either you will not be happy in life. When your mates are progressing in life, either you are just thinking about attacking this part, how to vilify this person, how to go after this person. That is absolutely wrong. Get them for your wallet. I've never seen that in life. You invite a witness. Me along for Ifon Kai Konana, I'm out on what another now. Before you see Pan even testify, you invite her to an interview. She accepted the interview and came to the interview. You ask her questions, she give you general answers. She went home, you took the transcript of that interview, extracted summary from that interview, presented it to her when she was giving her testimony, and tried to force her to accept that as her testimony or as her evidence. What nonsense is that? It's just like police only come and go, cool like any kachala, other kachala party the go science say. He said any kachaminge, yes, Saveroki, heart and aiming for Diati, Monday to the Clue, Boni, next go for the Cafuego. Okay, so I need evidence, after your sign go, you will evidence. You want to know what? You people think everybody is stupid. One of your mandats, Walla Alpha Man could put it as to Kensende. They go to school to acquire knowledge. I understand. So nobody is going to accept that. You need to stop hating individuals just because they are successful. And this is very rampant in Gambia. People, they don't like Talib Bensouda simply because they want to believe he is fortunate. Only. And the boy is even hyped. Talib Mankparisoro. Who told you that Talib is a multi-billionaire also? No. If he was, if he not I'll come United Movement for Change, we are not going to be here begging Gambians to give us money. No. And I tell you, for our party, to this moment, we can't remember in which Talib removed his own personal money, the agenda. No. All the outreach, everything that is done is for members. Nkakuromi contribute, that is what we put in Unite Movement. If it's going to be Talib's money, it means he contributed it to the movement. It's not like Talib is going to remove his money and put it there. So he don't, even he has money, that's not anybody's business. Why should you not be happy because somebody make money? Go and make money yourself. You know? So this is something that we need to stop. People hate individuals for no reason. And I think Amie Bensouda should be respected. Should be respected, should be celebrated for the great job that she did. Great job that she did. And then some people, it's not even about politics, because they have some people who will say, oh, the woman, if you go to Gambia bar school, she will fail you. So because she failed you in the bar school, you don't like her. If you don't pass your bar, bro, that's not anybody's fault. There are your mates went to the bar, they passed the bar for themselves. If you don't pass the bar, it's not Amie Bensouda's fault. If you fail, she deserves to give you a fail. No professor will celebrate passing people who are undeserved. So stop attacking the lady because she failed you when you were doing your bar. You deserve to be failed. There are people who pass the bar. People like Yamin them pass the bar. That's why they are lawyers today. There are other people who they pass the bar. If you want to pass, go and learn from those people. Stop attacking Amie Bensouda. I see them to you. Me Alonga is a private individual. I have never seen a private individual that is as hated as this woman. Minister me Alonga Banakuno Pusul Pasara every day. You guys are not saying anything about that. Minister the Tamala director, the Tamala, you battery, Molakuno, Domala, left, right, center. Me Alonga, that is your own money. Nobody will complain about that. Me and a private woman in her private capacity, in her private life, making her private money. Amal batandi, alko aliak pone. Just for the reason me and go, I do a Gambian ko lafta ka karefa wole, Gambian ko lafta kala ni mo be boni e karefa adunga. I'll go wala na bida no. Now go your father. We're not gonna leave this to go to slide. Now it's going to be blow by blow. Okay, balam for me and go. Look at the commission. If you watch the commission today, you will know that the lead council is even disappointed. The lead council was very disappointed today simply because they were not allowing him to do his job. It is the responsibility of the lead council, right, to help the witness to go or to give her testimony. You commissioners are there to listen. At the end of the day, you can ask questions, but it is lead council job to help the lady to go through her testimony. You understand? But you want to play, you want to assume the role of the lead counsel. Don't forget the reason why the lead counsel is forcing the commission to go on a break is because he wants to go in a break with you guys, the commissioners. Is wrong. And that is what the lead counsel did. That's why when they came back, they were measured. They were a bit relaxed. And what was happening was just a power trip. Was just party because it had like, okay, now I'm the one who is asking questions. I am a National Assembly member. So she's here as a witness. I can treat her anyhow. I can talk to her anywhere. That's what we call power trip. The power that you even have is very momentarily. I mean, you commission of Bana, where are you? And some of them here along Kalkabula Mol know why the commission of Bana Jan Bajela attorney will be telling you can yami. You see what is going to happen between you and those people side. Because bao gasta long albe mol no albe mol kele albe hasidi albe jawe ani content ya. Ali fonya wala. People, the reason where you are where you are is because of your hate. Love people, love yourself. Well, I cannot blame some of you. You don't even love yourself. Well, how can you love any other individual? You know, you cannot blame somebody just because they are financially fortunate. That's unfair, bro. You know, so this is very, very wrong. It has never and ever happened. You know. At the end of the day, you can't go, what is it from? I've known about it. Wasn't a witness to write to a government entity to get an evidence. When you are the government entity, you have the authority to summon or to write to that particular entity to provide the evidence. How? Amie Bensouda me and private lawyer man. You can't fight it go by force. Kaita Ministry of Justice, let's have a look at you have evidence provided. Even me and it is same also you can ask anybody anything and they provide it. The laws has given you that power. The laws have given you that power. But you just want to go after this woman. You just want to go after this woman. And the woman has not done anything to you. And then you need to know one thing. Let me say one thing. All these things that is happening today, the reason why Gala protested was Gala was concerned about transparency, about accountability, and about Miri Alonko Wale Jamele Feng Wat. Ni listo be mi findida. Momaje ko Amie Bensouda fensan. Momaje ko Amie Bensouda tata ka Jamele Feng Wat. Momaje ko Talib Bensouda or the family, none of them but anything that has to do with Jamela property. Nungalo no ko modol bi niaje kabin ko stati ba folo ko mile fa wa biro ka findi mile sando ka findi because they think their name will be there. But ala la ko boy ala what ala be min kala mo man sem boso wala de. You understand? So nga listo di den atu man taraje. No kurabi yalla ko people are even hyping him. Kura was the one who was selling tractors for $25,000. Kura even admitted that he was giving money to people or he was spending money without evidence. Kura said it. He agreed to it. So if there's somebody who we should ask where our money is, it's Kurang. And it is shameless Kura. It is Mira Fenegara Facebook. You can protest law. That protest, people are not even there for you. People are there because they love Gambia. Instead of Morosa, they would we need our money, we need our money. Yeah, video tower, they parade, they go for Facebook, you go pin sando. You as a full politician. It is a political rally more pin sando. Ila political engagement more pin sando. But when the protest me along may invite the from the protest de la or will moto kuru karado kan sando. If pare de yom de yo post, you think people will listen to you. This guy is not mentally stable. Gambians need to understand that something is wrong with him. You understand? And it's very, very sad, very, very unfortunate. If you follow his own testimony, the manner in which he was even appointed was wrong. If that's the playbook we're gonna go with, the manner in which Kura was appointed was wrong. What special skills did Kura has? What skills did Kura have? Me commission ya needle. About the commission, and the commission continues. But we need to say the truth. This man was just there, was simply there, just to go after one woman. The brother Amo Jamel found the wife wrote ten jako, ha ha. Yeah, Amie Bensouda, tell her in the boy commissioner. Now I have the opportunity to get back at her. Right? So it's very, very simple. You know, if you do not have an agenda, it's questions that will help Gambians understand Jamela Asetro Jumala Wabi, Awafita Nyadile, Kolo Nyundunda Nyadile, everybody wants to know more bail after Wolonale. Help us. That's why we protested. That's why we contributed for Gala to go in the streets. That's why we sent money. That's why we went to the streets with our legs. That's why we say everybody played a role. That's why people were arrested. That's why some people are still being charged. You understand? Nobody wants you to come to this commission and power trip there. Some people that you are a National Assembly member. What? It's hard to say. Nominated members all. Who is sorry to say, apart from MC Cham and Inke Moboyan, all these nominated members, they're through for that. Nobody will vote for them in a real election. This nomination for Nyanda Bolan, we need to stop this nomination. Momo me and left to go to a public officer like a politician, go to people, let them vote for you. But can't nominated, can't nominated. No, I don't trust these people. Because nobody will vote for them. Let me put a caveat. Apart from MC Cham, then Freda Gomez and Kemo Boya. Oh, I didn't know continue to be become. Do I look at the fellow? Some of them, yeah, there are some people that even wanted to stand. You know, the electoral even cycle don't even find them credible. You understand? Not only the electoral cycle, even some of them, they are party for me. Select. You see, those are the people me and going this came out of governor. He was never gonna make it to the National Assembly if he was not nominated. Apart from Yakuma, well, those are the most sensible National Assembly members. They are nominated, they did their job. But all this riffraff, nothing. You know, you hijack the commission. This came out of you hijack the commission. You make it about you and make it about Adam Obaro, make it about Amie Bensouda. Just simply to get to this boy. Me and he is the most prosperous politician in the history of our country. Me and he's the most futuristic politician in the history of our country. Me and every youth today is calling on his name. Simply because you felt like he is a threat to your boss. He's a threat to your boss. Understand? Jibe, ni mol min be kadu Amie Bensouda, Talib Bensouda attack Jibe. They are very angry people. They are not happy. In New York, queering, ibe brokering, you know, ni mo kete balula. And Momor Sabali. Atele futa mobe. Yena auto. Yeta ni kurangol nom. Mufati nula. What is their function in our community? In a family executive. Well, Nante, but I'm very thankful. No, but sometimes when I think about certain things, I'm so happy. You see, when I was in the UTG, I have to say, when I was in UTG, Sabali, every day, every time I call, Ndoma, nya di long university di no program o sere kuma ni ngana ngati amwe. He always want to be guest speaker. He always want to come. Na nka ba ko yes, we will call you. Never. I never invited him. Because how are you going to invite somebody who is ethically, morally, and conscientiously bankrupt in everything that he does to come and speak to students? What is he going to tell them? Momi yalan ka lona jana mo I fon la siyo la e bene. Obe mene fola mo nyanda ka proud min. Ite me mira fene me mira somebody is the most useless is the most useless, how to call it, marvel on Yadia from government advisor. All his mates are Flong Bay. They are all out there, they are all out there advising the government, advising the president, but he's the only one there attacking people for the president. That's not your job. Your job is to advise the president. Your job is not to attack people on behalf of the president. So this is very simple. For me, I'm in 100% support of any inquiry that is going to help Gambians to know the truth about how Jammeh's assets were handled. Gambians deserve to know, and that is why they take to the streets. Gambians need to know who were the individuals who bought these assets and under what circumstances these assets were bought or were sold. Gambians deserve to know where is the funds, where is the money, how is it being handled, because it's their money. But Gambians did not deserve to know, or they are not interested in knowing what personal problem you have with Amie Bensouda. Gambians are not interested in knowing that you failed your bar school because you could not pass Amie Bensouda's course. Gambians are not interested in that. Gambians are not interested in because Talib Bensouda want to be president, so because of that, you have to use this opportunity to get at him. No. Let's talk on specifics. This is what we want. Answers to this. Provide answers to that. Stop following this individual just because of your own personal business. Huh? So, we all know, we all saw what happened in the commission. Once again, I will say this. I have never, and nobody will ever tell me that you have seen a proceeding or you have seen a scenario in which a witness was interviewed and the transcript of that interview was used to provide a summary in her absence without her knowledge. And that summary is forced on her when she was giving her truthful testimony to accept that summary as her evidence. It doesn't work like that. Allow her to give her evidence. If you want to use the transcript, use it in verbatim. If you have questions around the transcript, ask specific questions around the transcript, she will answer. If Amie Bensouda did not answer, you have the right to hold her accountable. That's what we want. But we don't want you to go after her simply because of her son's political life. Every conscientious Gambian should go against this. Because you might not be a victim today, but who knows who is going to be a victim tomorrow. And all of these things is just to get to only one individual, that is Mayor Bensouda. So please, this parliamentary, commission of inquiry, like I said, go and research articles about parliamentary evidence of inquiry. There is a commonality in consensus that they are never fair because members of the commission are 100% politically affiliated. These are National Assembly members that belong to political parties that came together. So if you ask them to make an inquiry, 100%, whether you like it or not, their political affiliation will override the most important function, that is the function of establishing the truth. So petty grievances, vengeance, Dampha, nuclear, do not use that to get to the lady. In fact, you're not trying to get to the lady, you're trying to get to Talib Bensouda through her mom. Some people hate the lady just because they believe that this woman advises Talib. Dim barakarin jumal be nyin dunya kono mi yalon ko itar la fle dim if ibama la advice la. Who in his right sense will blame somebody for having their mother as their advisor? Who? Because one reason why you should have an advisor that love you is because that advisor will give you the advice that is your best interest. Because they love you. People like President Barrow will make advisor. They don't love President Barrow, they just love their pocket. Dr. Sisi and others, they will leave the president, they will leave President Barrow the moment he stopped being president. But Amie Bensouda will never leave Talib Bensouda. So any advice he gives to him, or she offered him, will definitely be a genuine advice. Excuse me. The most important thing is, Jumala Pobi Jamian Gapo, more Bama advice. This is so determined that if you are not happy to go and take advice from your mother or your parents, other people are happy to do. And you cannot blame them for having their parents or their mom as their advisor. Some people, that's the only reason they hate Amie Bensouda. Talibe Fengfe Ningela, Abama Lakafai. Mean, what is wrong for Amie Bensouda to advise Talib Bensouda? In fact, who is more competent to advise anybody in the Gambia more than Amie Bensouda? Who is more competent to provide advisory services to any individual more than Amie Bensouda? Why me and the coming government don't? Why did they go to him? Why did they go to her to be the lead counsel? It's because they know she has the experience. They know she has the expertise. They know she has the knowledge. She has the competence. That's why they went to her. Wali for the punante, ali for the headla, head my mona fa fenda de. Kahara madu ya kondrong for no reason ali for nyala. Please, just hold on the phone wale. You know, you ke bala ni for ni national assembly man for nyadi jado janyam guy. You know, you see how unserious those people are. Power trip. It's very simple because they know everybody will say, oh, Amie Bensouda is a lawyer, Amie Bensouda has knowledge, Amie Bensouda is intelligent, Amie Bensouda and all that. So they will want to prove to Gambians that they stood their ground. So when the lady come, instead of asking questions that will help the people, they will just be there to caricature the lady. They will just be there to, to bully the lady, just to show muscle. That's what is called power trip. You want to show people that you are powerful. You know? That is very sad. As a National Assembly member, if you want to show people that you are powerful, you go into that house and debate on behalf of your people. You represent them well. That's what you need to do to show people that you are powerful. But not to come online to bully a private citizen. Yeah, Aisha? Nah, baby, I'm on live. You gotta go brush your mouth and go to bed. Go to your mouth. Sorry about that. But that is very simple and straightforward. So, we're gonna have to round up here because I don't want to keep people wrong, but we keep people long. But we will be coming to this life now. This is gonna be a regular life because, bro, for me, me, I hate people taking advantage just because they hate other people. That's so unfair. You know, Monya da katrale, nkana advantage jai. Don't take advantage of the situation. Don't take advantage of the circumstance to ridicule the woman. Don't do that. These members of the committee, do your job. Do your job fairly, do your job justly. Stop being egoistic, stop being hateful, stop being in vengeance, stop your power trip games. It does not help. Gambians did not go out to protest for you to go to the commission and show your muscles. Gambians went out to protest because they want to know the facts around how Jammeh's assets were handled. So how Gambians' assets were handled, because that's not Jammeh's assets, that's our assets. So that's why people went out to protest. That's why people were ready to be arrested. That's why people were ready to even go to Mile 2. That's why people were ready to have their heads saved. So respect that. Respect that and be fair to the lady. Be fair to the Gambian people. Do your job. If you fail your bar, it's not Amie Bensouda's fault for you to fail your bar. Your mates have passed. Ni buka exam mo pass no ite babula mo no ni ma exam mo pass. What reason? For that more like you can't just student full in ball ni anka mala exam mo pass no. Abulala monoma, me alonko, abo kenala, because he made exam will pass. Exam will pass. Why would Amie Bensouda a lecturer go after you because for what reason why is other people why are other people passing? You are failing. He doesn't hate you. You are incompetent. You don't know how to pass your exam. Simply straightforward. So leave the woman alone. Leave the woman alone. I'm going to challenge everybody. Tell me in a situation or in a scenario where somebody, right, where somebody was invited to an interview. He gave high interview willfully. She left and went home. You use her interview, provide a summary from her interview, extract what you want from her interview without her knowledge, call her back to come and give her testimony, and pour that summary back on her and try to manipulate or gaslight her to accept that that summary that you wrote is her testimony. And me manda karamudo, what? How can that make sense? Taka Momi Angos has been in practice for more than 40 years. Don't accept that. Nobody is gonna accept that. Just common sense. You understand? That's just common sense. And she came to you. She said, "Listen to me. If you want my evidence, give me time. Give me the transcript. I will look at the transcript. I will write my own summary from the transcript and give it to you as my evidence, not your own summary." You want to ridicule her. Why? People can die. You are forcing her to go to the Ministry of Justice, get evidence, and bring it to you. He's a private individual, a private citizen, a private practitioner. You are a government institution. You have the power, you have the strength, you have the capacity, you have the manpower to go to any government institution, get any document you want, and they are mandated to provide to you. Why don't you just do that? He did not even tell you, "I'm not going to do that." She agrees. She said, "Well, I accept. I will do this. But I have to go and check with my people. If I have the evidence, I'll give it to you. If I don't have the evidence, definitely I'll just give you what I have." But you still want to gaslight her. You still want to make yourself look like, oh, you are the one who is challenging Amie Bensouda. You are the one who is asking difficult questions. When you appearing as a clown to the average Gambian, that's how you are. We see you as a clown. We see you as a clown. And some failed politicians like Alaji Kurawal, they never have a political platform. Like when a political meeting, me more 25 or more 54 now. So wala na kabrati Amie Bensouda to for rek anim burba sita la moto kuno baka tare westfield abu ura we need our money that I will be video clip go to his page I go to his page I click that video. This is what I will pin ala video ala for the politician on ninte akala pakila press down I will pin ala wolo bala kabri 19 ho aho na serious tale to na bita political rally dot mo siara dami ay makendo for dami I will video ta pin everyone who pin if you pin something you want people to know about that. That's your PR. You want people to know how credible you are, you know? But now you have opinion because you have platforms. So you use this scenario to create a fake platform for yourself just to go after a woman. Me, I don't care. Me, buy. I mean, but it's very simple. I'm not going to be able to work with this guy. He is ethically bankrupt. It is your responsibility, the Minister of Justice, to either keep me or keep him. I mean, I mean, for all I need, because the lady is professional. She is ethical. You know, but this other guy is not. For her to execute her responsibilities, she need to be in the right place. So the best thing she could have done, well, okay, identical, I'm for Alabai. Because she doesn't even have the power. I mean, for one contending into the Kokerano. And anyone who work in a government setup or any institution or any formal institution, you see a lot of these things. I have seen, I just last week in LSE, it happened that a professor have written to HR and argue that they will not be able to work in a particular circumstance with a particular graduate assistant. So the university was forced to either choose the professor or the graduate assistant. But I'm not going to sit here as HR and say the university or the professor was the one who dismissed that graduate assistant. No, he is not. Equally, that is a summary. The professor at the decision is on to HR to make. And in this case, the decision is for the minister or the solicitor general to make as to whether Amie Bensouda kibla or ebe Kurana kibla. And any right thinking person, Jumal be Quran kibla. Jumal be Quran kibla. In the face of Amie Bensouda, who? Nobody. So, Madiun, I think this is enough. Help you, all of you. I know in the beginning of the life was a bit tense. People were insulting left, right, center, each other. Had to block or remove one person because he was the one who triggered everything. But we have to do this live again. We have to come back even tomorrow. If the commissioners and the lead council are fair to the woman, I trust the lead council to a certain degree. Because kabin yung commissioner be la yung power triple be la yung nense sola lead council ya itendi gala ko ala na break because alafta nata la break la afu gala ko ali fo yin and wala ka after ni tara break la advice la ko albe minke kan yung musula la bula. You guys are wrong. That's why when they came back they were in their senses. Right? So this is just it. If it continues to be peaceful, it continues to be lawful, it is continued to be done correctly, we will support it. But if they want to use this to go against people, we will come out here and call it as it is. Thank you so much for joining the live. Like I said, this conversation is gonna continue. You're gonna frequently see me here. If there is any unfairness, if there is not, you have to be on my wall reading my articles against the rebels. I don't know whether they are Taliban or whether they are rebels. I don't know. Well, that's a joke. Yeah, but Allah Baraka Baga, thank you so much for joining me. And then hopefully we're gonna see you soon. Baraka, thank you.